Chapter 11 and Chapter 12 of WristClocks. Time is not yours to keep. Let's go, I guess. Chapter 11 Solo Kill. Ellis kills alone. Vega makes a call he can't take back, and someone survives just long enough to speak. The house was quiet, but Vega wasn't listening for noise. He was reading the dust. No sign of a break-in, but the edge of the bathroom window had been freshly wiped. The latch was loose. There were faint grooves in the carpet, drag marks maybe, but the most telling sign was on the mirror. A fingertip swipe. Tiny drawn shape. Second hand. He stared at it, heart tightening. She said she couldn't remember, the officer told him. The girl who got out. Too much shock, maybe. She just kept whispering he wasn't alone. Vega didn't think it was trauma-induced confusion. He thought it was the truth. Tick. Tock. She woke to the sound of her own breathing choking her awake. The room wasn't hers. The chair wasn't hers. The straps were. The smell was sterile, alcohol, and something that burned. She couldn't see his face, not clearly, just gloves, just the glint of a blade. But there was a voice, not the one with the knife. The second one, female, younger. I'll watch this time. Amy didn't remember how she got free, only that her left arm was bleeding. The skin split shallow, where a half-finished clock had been started. Just the outline, no numbers, no time, yet. She ran until her lungs felt like they were on fire. She couldn't get a breath in. And now, hours later, she couldn't explain what she saw, not clearly, only that he hadn't been alone. Something in the woman's voice, detached, observant, clinical, haunted her more than the scalpel. Tick, tock. The echo of Amy's words played in Vega's mind. As he stared at the partial drawing on the mirror. He should have known this once. Years ago, he'd made a call, then turned away from a girl in the system who reminded him too much of a case gone wrong. They said she wasn't stable. He let her fall through the cracks. He still had the complaint letter unsigned in his desk. Sometimes the justice system worked. Sometimes it protected itself. He couldn't make the same mistake now. Detective, an officer called from the hallway. We've got a Jane Doe in the city morgue. Found off I-80 near Vermont. No ID, but there's a carved clock. Vega's eyes narrowed. Numbers? None, the officer said. Just hands. 3 of them. Tick, tock. He watched the empty chair, the one she was supposed to use. It had blood on it now, but not from the one of his kills. She had cleaned it herself, burned the rags, washed the floor. No notes, no tools left behind. Just silence. She was testing boundaries. He ran a finger along the spine of his notebook, the one she hadn't seen. He documented every tick, every impulse, every betrayal. This wasn't about control, not anymore. She was mimicking him, yes, but with her own cadence. He had taught her time. Now he would teach her consequences. Tick, tock. The woman's name was Linda Trent, a therapist, retired, once assigned to teenage girls in temporary psychiatric placement. She probably didn't remember Ellis, but Ellis remembered everything. The way Linda called her Ellie, even when corrected. The dismissive sigh when she refused to speak. The forced smiles, the clipboard, the silence. When Ellis cried herself hoarse, there was no response. No response. Linda died in her sleep. That's what the autopsy would say. No struggle, no sign of intrusion. The small prick on her neck would be missed. The vaporized sedative would fade. But the clock on her wrist, perfectly carved with surgical precision, would not. 7:06. Ellis cleaned the scalpel, folded the cloth. She didn't hum, she didn't breathe hard, she didn't shake. She left the scene exactly how she arrived, deliberate, visible, alone, and for the first time, unafraid. Chapter 12. Rust in the works. Mason and Vega connect the dots. Some kills weren't solo. The killer sees the rust and plots removal. Blood pulsed from the wound in erratic spurts, soaking the velvet of the chair. Ellis watched it with fascination, as though waiting for the pattern to change. It didn't. The man gurgled once and went still. He was younger than her usual types, not someone from her past, not even a name she recognized, but he looked like someone. A neighbor, maybe, a guidance counselor. Someone smiled the wrong way at her. She couldn't remember. She didn't want to. The carving was messy. The second hand she prided herself on, crooked and jagged. She blamed the blade, but deep down she knew it wasn't the knife that had slipped. It was her. Tick-tock. She stared at the clock on his wall. The time didn't match what she carved. She didn't care. She liked 303 better anyway. It felt wrong, unbalanced, like her. She smeared a bloody hand across the glass face of the clock, distorting its reflection, and laughed, short, breathless, as if it startled even her. She was still laughing when she left him there, still laughing when she stepped into the rain, still laughing when she looked up and thought, he's watching me. But instead of fear, she felt something worse, excitement. Tick-tock. The board was covered with pens and paper. That wasn't what caught Vega's eye. It was the timeline. When laid out, something became clear. Some of these victims had been killed by more than one person. The MO split isn't just style, it's sequence. Look, Pauline's carving was clean, but the site of trauma is chaotic. That's 2 signatures. Mason nodded slowly, and Amelia, her body was moved post-mortem, exactly like someone posed her. They stared at each other, the same realization passing between them. They were working together, not always, but enough. Mason said quietly. Vega added, and now, the second killer's carving style is changing. Mason leaned forward, getting sloppier. Or more rushed, or more unhinged. They stared at the map again. The killings had a rhythm before, a logic, but now it was losing tempo, spiraling out. She's going off on her own, Vega muttered. She's not following his pattern anymore. Mason nodded once, lips thin, and he knows it. Tick-tock. The gears of a clock work in harmony. Each tooth must mesh, or each part must submit. He'd built something beautiful, a choreography of consequence, time as judgment, pain as punctuation, and now she was dragging rust into the machine. The signs were everywhere. Wrong timestamps, incomplete carvings. victim that should have lasted hours, dispatched in minutes. A body left where it could be found too soon. Her hands were shaking, her pulse was too loud, her intentions too personal. Worst of all, she was starting to enjoy it. He sat in his quiet room, tools lined in rows, each cleaned and sharpened. He thought of her laughter, the hysterical edge to it. That wasn't discipline, that was decay. And like any rusted part of a precision system, it would need to be removed. She folded his notebook shut. She is no longer a part of the clock. And when the clock is compromised, you reset it by force.